All right, welcome back to Intermediate Algebra. So today we are going to talk about systems of equations, systems of linear equations that use the elimination method to solve it. Okay, so this is right after substitution. Okay, so let me go ahead and share the screen up. All right, and we'll just grab a set of things and get going here. Okay, now I don't really tell you guys like what you're supposed to do. So you pick your favorite choice. You pick your favorite method here. Okay. So let's see here. We're going to find one that looks like elimination. So let's see. Yeah. Okay. How about this one? We've got 9x plus 3y. Okay. Equals -3. Okay. And then we have 2x minus 3y equals -8. Okay, so this is the beginner exercise. So you'll notice that this 3 and this 3, right, they are opposite, so we can add them and be okay. All right. Normally, you're going to have to multiply, you can multiply both equations by something different. And the goal is that you're going to make one of the variables have the same coefficient, but opposite. Okay, so that's usually what's going to happen. But in this case, since they're trying to tell us, like, hey, use elimination, that's what we're going to do. So if I add these two equations together, we're going to get 9 plus 2 is going to be 11x. 3y and -3y, that's going to be 0. And we're going to end up with a -11 over here. Divide both sides by 11. Okay, and then x is equal to -1. Now, pick either one of these. Okay, so unlike substitution, where if you used one, you had to plug it into the other equation. In this case, to go backwards, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to say, well, how about 2 times -1, okay, minus 3y is equal to -8. I just picked equation 2 here. Okay, so we have -2, okay, minus 3y, because we don't know what that is just yet, equals -8. Okay, we're going to add 2 to both sides. We're going to add 2 to both sides. So we're going to get 3y. Right, if you're in debt $8 and you pay back $2, then you're now in debt $6. Okay, we're making some progress here. Divide everybody by 3. Okay, we get y is equal to 6 over 3 is 2. So our solution set here is it's just going to be -1, -2 here. Okay, and that's pretty much how you're going to do elimination. Now we'll do a couple more. Let me just remind us that there's 3 things that can happen, right? We could get, we could get 2 lines intersecting, which means we get exactly one solution. Okay, get some kind of an AB. Okay, we could get, draw a coordinate axis here. We can get 2 lines that are parallel, which means we get no solutions. And what that's going to look like, so we did the other video, is you're going to get something like 2 is equal to 5. We know that that's not true. So we say, well, what happened was we have 2 lines that never intersect because these will never meet. Okay, if this is never true, this was never going to be true. Okay, or we can get we can get 2 lines that are really the same thing. They're just like cleverly disguised copies of each other. Okay, and then what's going to happen is you're going to get an answer that's going to look like 0 equals 0. Oh, no kidding. So that, when you get answers like this, just remind yourself, like, we double check the arithmetic to make sure we did it right, but they will try to mess with us and give us equations that have no business being equated, or 2 equations that really are the same equation, just rewritten in a clever manner. Okay, or not so clever manner, depending. So you can when you get an answer like this, just realize, like, yeah, they'll do that to you. Okay, so let's dig into one that's a little bit harder. Okay, So in this case, we're going to have 1/3 x plus 1/5 y equals 7. Okay, and my other equation is going to be 1/6x, okay, minus 2/5y, okay, equals -4. All right. Now, if you are in the class I'm currently teaching for intermediate algebra, what your book would suggest that you do, okay, is clear the fractions by multiplying by 15, clear the fractions here. Well, 6 times 5 is going to be 30, and that's really the best we can do here. Okay, and then to kind of take a little break after we clear the fractions and then solve it from there forward. There are other ways. You could recognize that, hey, 2/5 is twice 1/5, and 2/6 is like 1/3. So I could just multiply by 2 and solve it that way to see what happens. So this is not the only solution technique, but it is the solution technique that is recommended by the book that we are currently using. So we're going to go with it that way. So I'm going to clear the fractions. We're going to kind of reevaluate what has to happen here, and then we'll go from there. All right. So 15, 1/3 times 15, right? That's 5. 3 goes into 15 5 times, so we have 5x. We have 5 goes into 15, right? 15/5, that's going to be plus 3y. Okay, and now we're going to have 70 plus 35, so that's going to be 105 here, right? This is 7 times 10 plus 5. That's how I did that. Okay, so if you ever, this if we actually were to 5. Okay, so if you ever, if you have to teach somebody how to do the 12 times tables, this is how we learned how to do them. Okay, back when I was a kid. Not saying I was good at it. I'm just saying that's how they taught us. Okay, so 30 divided by 6, that was 5, right? So that's going to be 5x. Okay, and then 2/5, right? 5 goes into 30. 6 times -2 should be minus 12y. Okay, and then 4 times 30 is going to be 120. Okay, and at this point you can decide, like, well, which one do I want to deal with? Okay, the x's lined up pretty nicely. We could also multiply by -4 if you weren't happy with that, right? Or +4 rather, to eliminate the 12s, or the y's rather. But I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to be kind of stuck with big problem anyway, so it looks like we're going to do it that way. So we have -5x, okay, minus 3y is equal to -105. Okay, and I'm just going to write the other one down here. So 5x, okay, not changing anything with this problem, and that's is equal to -120. Okay, now when I add these two together, -5 plus +5, that's going to be 0. We have -3 and -12, that's going to be -15y, right? And then here we're going to have equals -225. Okay. And one of my teachers made us memorize all of our perfect squares up to 25. Okay. So, can't remember his first name. Dang it. Nedig. Okay, so nice guy. And 15 times 15 happens to be 225, so negative over negative makes it positive. We end up with y is equal to 15. Okay, now you can pick any variation you would like. If you want to pick this one, you're allowed to pick that one. Okay, you're allowed to pick any variation of the equations that you have up until this point, right? So I'll tell you what, let's go with the 5x, why is I keep doing that, plus 3y is equal to 105. Let's plug in the 15, so we have 5x plus 3 times 15 is equal to 105. Okay, so this is 45 equals 105 plus 5x. Let's go ahead and subtract 45 from both sides. So that looks like that's going to be 0 here. 10 minus 4 is going to be 60. Okay. It's 5x. Okay. And we already know that 60 divided by 5, that happens to be 12. So my solution set here, 12, 15, and we should be all set. All right. So that is a little bit more of a complicated issue, but that's pretty much how you handle that. By the way, I'm crossing my fingers all the time, hoping that I did not make a arithmetic mistake, because that happens. All right. That's like a -1 on my grading scale. Okay, which it goes from an A to a B. Okay. So that's what we have. Let's see if we can find another one like that. Let's see here. Ooh, that one looks fun. Okay. So we have, this one is 2x over 3, okay, plus 3y over 4, okay, is equal to 11/12. That's delightful. And now we have, again, we have x over 3 plus 7y over 18, okay, is equal to 1/2, right? So in this case, they wrote it in a way that's usually, that can confuse people. There's nothing different. If I say 3y over 4, this is the same thing as 3/4 times y. Okay, these both mean the same thing, right? I wouldn't convert these to a decimal. In this case, you could. In this case, you can't. You can. So yes, no, no, and no. The only reason I say that is because a lot of students don't know to round when they're finished. But even if you do know that, I mean, there's no, it doesn't always have to be a 3. It could be over a 7 or over an 11 or over something that you really don't want to deal with. Okay, so I really do urge you, practice some fractions. I promise you that they will not appear quite as hard as they did when you learned them when you were in the 4th or 5th grade. Okay, you will look back at it and say, why did these seem so hard? So I do urge you to practice a little bit with some fractions. They really will come back to you, and you'll be stronger because of it. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to, again, share the same problem solving technique that we did in the first one. Like, who wants to deal with all the fractions? I mean, yeah, we can, but do we want to? So what we're going to do is I'm just going to multiply the top equation by 12, because 3, 4, and 12 all are factors of 12, right? So I multiply by 12, I'll clear them. So let's see here. 12 goes into 3 4 times. 4 times 2 is going to be 8x. Okay. And by the way, if you're doing this, I mean, first off, nobody's going to know. You're the only person that is going to know that you did this. And you don't have to apologize to anybody. Okay, so if you need to go back and say, well, I wonder if, okay, and check, then you go right ahead and do that. Don't let me shame you into thinking like I have to do this in my head. You don't. If you need to use the calculator, then use the damn calculator. Okay, plus 12 goes into 4. That is 3 times 3 times 3. That's going to be 9. So we have 9y, and then 12 times 11/12 is just going to give us 11. Okay. Oh, what do you think we ought to do for the second one? How about 18? Because 3 goes into 18, 18 goes into 18, and 2 goes into 18. Okay, so 18 over 3, that's 6. So we end up with a 6x. Okay, it's just a 6x. That's not a squared or anything like that. Plus 18 over 18, that completely cancels. So we just have to do a 7y. Okay, and half of 18, that is 9. Now remember, we have to get rid of one of those two. Okay, we have to multiply one of them by one thing or the other thing by another thing in order to get some kind of elimination here. 6 and 8 seem like maybe we can do something. 7 and 9 are like, well, that's like 63, because otherwise there's nothing going on here. We don't care what's going on here. Okay, so I think what's going to happen is, I think 24. Okay, I think if we multiply both sides by 24, or try to get 24. Okay, so how about we multiply by 3, okay, here, and 4 here. Well, 3 times 11 is going to be 33, 4 times 9 is going to be 36. Why don't we make that one negative? Did it matter which one I picked? No. If I had picked 24 or something bigger than this, would it have mattered? No. So just because I picked the lowest one does not mean you had to. Okay, you could have picked one that was bigger. As long as these are going to match, don't care. Okay, but I also know that people tend to make more arithmetic mistakes the bigger the numbers get. That's why I kept them small. But if you didn't, doesn't matter. Okay, it'll still work. So we have negative 24x. 3 times 9 is minus 27y. And we have negative 33 on the other side. For my second equation, we have 4 times 6 is 24x. Notice one's positive and one's negative. Okay, because I don't like to subtract. I can add pretty well. Subtract, you forget it. Okay, 4 times 7, what is that going to be? 28 plus 28y. Okay, and then 4 times 9 is going to be 36. We add, oh, we should look at that. 28 minus 27, that's 1. Okay, we just get y. And then 36 minus 33, 3. Okay, so that was kind of nice of them. Okay, generally these problems, we want to pick it so that my job is to pick the problems that tend to come out nice and easy. Okay, hold on for a second here. All right, he is usually not very vocal, but today he is. But I think this is also the tolerance of him. So look at here. This is the tolerance of him wanting to be held. So we're going to let him go. Okay. I don't know why they're being vocal tonight, but there they are. Okay, so let's go back to sharing my screen. All right, and back to this. Okay, yes, I know, baby. Okay, so a little serotonin break. Right. Now, we know that y is equal to 3, and you can pick any equation from the beginning, all the manipulations you've done, all the way back to something that you're going to be happier with. I'm going to pick this one, okay? Because 7 times 3 is the easiest one I could do, right? So here we go. We have 6x plus 7 times 3, substituting this in, is equal to 9. Okay, so this is 6x plus 21 is equal to 9, right? And then we have to go ahead and do this. I think we're going to end up with a 6x is equal to negative 12. Okay, and to give us 9, double check. Okay, so 29, yeah, 21 minus 9. Okay, and then 12 because it's really 9 minus 21 instead. So reverse the sign. And then divide both sides by 6. And we get x is equal to minus 2. So that's a nice answer for a question like this. So we have x is equal to minus 2. All right, so my solution, negative 2, 3, you can say s. Okay, something like that. By the way, if in my class, if you're one of my students and you have written this down, and you said, oh, the answer is negative 2, negative 3, I will be so happy with you. You'll be so happy with you. Okay, everybody will be happy. So everybody gets a good grade for this one. All right, you don't have to type it out formally like this. Okay. So I think I'm going to stop with those two, and I might do another one in a little bit, but that's elimination. You have that. We're good. So I will see you in the next video. Thank you.